Hi everyone, welcome back to English Hero. Right now we're going to have a topic about sentence types according to structure. First, I'm going to discuss to you the two types, which is simple sentence and the compound sentence. Later on, you'll be taught about complex sentence and compound complex. There are actually four. That's what I've mentioned in my previous video. So, let's start right away with a simple sentence. Now, what is a simple sentence? As we all know, sentence it expresses a complete thought, meaning, or idea. But talking about simple sentence, it just composed of one subject and one predicate. Okay? Let's have this for example. Jillian studied English Jillian studied English. This sentence alone is what we call a simple sentence. Why? Because like I've said, it has one subject, or it has a subject, okay, and a predicate. Now, what does predicate composed of? We have the verb and the object. So this phrase here is what we call predicate. And predicate is composed of a verb and an object. Take note of that. Okay? So that's what simple sentence is. It only composes of one independent clause. Let's talk about independent clause. What is independent clause again? It can stand alone, meaning it functions as similar to, or it functions similarly to a sentence. It only has a subject and a predicate. Okay? Let's move on with a compound sentence. What is a compound sentence? Let's read. It's two or more, or it composes of two or more independent clauses. What does it mean? So, for example, this one is an example of an independent clause because it can stand alone. So for this one to be transformed, or if we're going to transform this simple sentence to a compound sentence, we need to have this what we call compound conjunctions. From the word compound, okay? So these conjunctions are used to connect two independent clauses. Okay, so that's what compound sentence is. Let's have an example. Like I said, let's transform this simple sentence to a compound sentence. Jillian studied English and lives in Talamban, and she lives in Talamban, Cebu. Okay. So Jillian studied English and she lives in Talamban, Cebu. She lives in Talamban, Cebu is an example of an independent clause. So how many independent clauses do we have now in this sentence, in this whole sentence? We have two already. So we have this one. This is one independent clause. I see. And this one, she lives in Talamban, Cebu, is another independent clause. There you have it. And don't forget, it's combined with a compound conjunction, and. Now, we do have several compound conjunctions. We have and, or, what else? With, okay? So those are examples of compound conjunctions. Usually, or commonly we use and, or. Okay? So this and, or. Sometimes with. Okay? So that's it. That's the difference between simple sentence and a compound sentence. Not so complicated. But for the complex sentence and compound complex, that's where our confusions, or some people might be confused of those types of sentences, because there are several, not rules, but there are several words that we need to consider, especially conjunction, that we need to use in forming a sentence using complex sentence and a compound complex sentence. Okay, so we are going to continue discussing this one in my next video. That's going to be complex sentence and compound complex. That's all for today. Have a nice day, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.